we will be starting with the importance of Python in research and analytics. But before we understand the importance of anything, um, we should know the verbs that we are taking, the research and analytics. What is research and what is analytics? How it is used in the modern world? How was it used before us? And why do we do research and analytics? Okay, so like for example, we will take this. How did you know about this webinar? Okay, so now whenever you want to do something, like you join a course or you want to attend a webinar, what you will do is that when you hear it from someone, you will look for it. Like you will look for example, in Google, you are looking for webinars on Python. Okay, so you did that and you got a list, huge list from Google, which says that these and these are the webinars from Python. Okay. Post that, you look for all the URLs and see which one is suitable for you and which one is the best. Okay. So that is what is research and analytics is. Knowingly or unknowingly, what we do is that in any decision that we make, or any purchase, or any good that we buy, or any service that we take, we make sure that we do some research, analyze that research that we have done, and make a decision based on that. So that is what research and analytics is. So now we will see a bit of definitions about what is research and what is analytics here. Okay. So research is nothing but diligent and systematic inquiry or investigation into a subject in order to discover or revise facts, theories, application, etc. Okay. So why do we do research is because we want to check the fact that is already established there. Is that correct or not? Okay, it's like proving something whether it is correct or not. If at all we think that that is correct and we want to revise, for example, let us say your production line. Okay, so if you're on any production line and you're not meeting the time target for the production line, let's say the delivery time for a product is around 10 minutes. Okay, but you're delivering that product in 12 minutes, so you are losing 2 minutes of productivity there. Now, to improve that productivity, what you have to do is that you have to research where is the leak of 2 minutes, what exactly is happening, which part of the production line is not working properly, who's not following the proper process, which is making the delays. Okay, so that is your research work. Like you will check what exactly is happening, and then once you collect all those research data, you will analyze that data. Okay, so that's when analytics come into picture. What is analysis? Analysis is nothing but the study of available historical data to recognize trends and patterns. Okay, so now what happens in analytics is that whatever data that we have collected or whatever data that is available to us, we will check that data, analyze it, try to find out some trends and patterns. Like, for example, when we are continuing with the example of production line, we see that till last 3 months it was working fine, but uh, before 3 months what we have done is that we have replaced one machine on the production line, after which the delay started, like 2 minutes delay started post that. Okay, so that is when we analyze, when we look into the data, oh okay, so at this point of time this change started happening. Okay, so we analyze those patterns and adjust our capability, or we will adjust it to get the best results that we want. So that is analytics. So research and analytics works hand in hand with each other. Okay, so now that we know what is research and what is analytics, we will move on to what is Python. Okay, so let us see what Python is. Okay, and as we have just discussed, why is research and analysis is important for a business is to improve their productivity, increase their revenue margin, enhance their products, improve customer satisfaction, uh, the build quality of improve the build quality of the product, see how the product is working. Okay, so these all things are very important to the business. And to improve anything in the business, you should know what is to be improved and how it is to be improved. And to find out what and how to be improved, we need to do some research. And once we have the research data available, we will analyze the data, see what is happening. Basis that, we build our hypothesis and our results. So now what is Python? Okay, so when someone asks me what is Python, I told them that it's a snake, but they said that no, it's a programming language. So let us see what Python is, how exactly it came into existence, who's the father of Python, and what kind of language it is, what are its core methodologies, a bit more about the Python. Okay. So now Python is an interpreted high-level general purpose language. Okay. So when we say high-level general purpose language, this language is actually written in C, C++, and it was developed by Guido van Rossum. Okay. In the year 1991. But the popularity of Python was not that much till the time of 2009 and 2010. Okay. The reason being for that is because the data that we have available right now is humongous. Okay, and that all started from the birth of internet. So when we had internet previously, it was limited to very big organizations who can afford it and all that. But later on, it became available for general population as well. So as the general population started using data, the usage of data started increasing, and the data points that companies or the organizations that are collecting from its consumers or customers grown astronomically. Okay, so we consume a lot of data in today's date. Okay, like take an example of your cell phone. Okay, so your cell phone is a data mine actually. Okay, whatever you do, wherever you go, any purchases that you made, any photos that you click, all that information is stored is in the form of a data. Okay, so now let us say, for example, you are using your Google Maps. Okay, so your Google Maps will show you the traffic patterns when you're traveling using the Google Maps, that it will show some red parts on your map when you're traveling and say that there is a traffic congestion over there. Okay, so it will ask you to uh, avoid that route and show you an alternate route. Okay, so how does it do that? That is based on the data that you have. So it will collect all the information, like you are always connected to the internet on your phone using your 4G. Okay, so what happens is that it will ping all the phones that are there on that path, and it will say that, oh, so many users are, or so many phones rather, not users, so many phones are stuck at one place. Okay, so it will show that there is a traffic conjunction at that particular place. So based on that, it will show you then alternative route. So knowingly or unknowingly, you are sharing all your information with the with Google. Okay, so it bases that, it will decide the route that you are taking. Okay, Python, coming to Python, okay, it's designed based on the code readability. Okay, like the language is not that tough, you can understand the code when you read it. Okay, and it is a bit of white spaces. When we say white spaces, it is like the code should be indented. Okay, like you should keep in mind whenever you're writing the code, if there is subsection of the code, that should move a tab to the right side. Okay, and Python is used everywhere. Oh my god. Okay, so it is like any analysis that you talk about in today's date, that is done in Python. Okay, so we will see some core philosophies of the Python, which says that beautiful is better than ugly, explicit is better than implicit, simple is better than complex, complex is better than complicated, readability counts. So what we are saying is that though you can write the same code in other languages, but it could be difficult for you to write that. There could be many functions that could be involved in there and many scenarios, but in Python it will make it a bit easier for you to read and write in Python. Okay, now here, to understand the importance of something, like for example, when you're going to buy something on Flipkart, let us say, what you do is that when you want to buy a product, you will see the usage of the product by the customer, like what are the reviews of the product, how many purchases have been done, how many ratings are there. So that is your basic analysis that you do before buying the product. So here also what I am showing is that how exactly Python evolved the ranking in the programming languages. So here if you see, we are coming from back in 1985 when Python not existed, and when the first version of Python came in 1995. From that, if we see from the 21st position, it came into third position in 2020. Okay, so Python is the go-to language for data science and web development, web scraping, your machine learning, artificial intelligence, be it anything. Okay, so Python is your go-to language for that. Okay, Python provides you high flexibility, which enables the programmers to solve any given problem in a very short span of time. Okay, and for data scientists, they use it to create machine learning algorithms, perform data mining, build models, and whatnot. Like for creating web services, classifying the data, find out the missing data, what is missing in the current data set. Um, quite a few things. Okay, like for us in the data analytics world, Python is like the go-to language for us. Like be it anything, uh, for that matter, you can use it to combine huge files into one, which Excel will take a lot of time for you guys. That same task will be done in a jiffy in Python. Okay, so that's the beauty of the language. So here is a very long-term history of the Python to see how exactly it evolved, and all the trends are based on 12 months rating for the language. Moving on to the next trend that we have. Okay, here this one is showing how it is used in the data world. Okay, so almost 25% of the data scientists, or 25% of the programs that are written right now for data scientists, data science is in Python. Okay, now JavaScript, Go, JavaScript has always been there. Go is the new language that you have. Okay, Kotlin that you see there is used for mobile development. C++ has always been there. Java is one of the top languages. HTML, CSS, as you see, there is very less used. Okay, C, R. Okay, one thing that you have to remember, that R is also one more statistical language that you can use in data science. Okay, but the flexibility that you have in Python, you do not have in R. Reason being, R is written completely for statistics, whereas Python is written for both, what do you say, programming and statistics. Okay, you have quite a few packages uh, which are available in Python, which you can use for statistics. So R is mainly used for statistical analysis, while Python provides you a more vivid approach to data science, and uh, language is oriented. The R language is more oriented towards data science, and like it's Python is general purpose. Okay, you can use it for anything, and the syntax readability is quite good in Python. Okay, when compared to R. So who uses Python? Okay, so now let us see who all uses Python. Okay, so these are the companies which uses Python extensively. Okay, for example, you take Netflix. Netflix uses it for your suggestions that you get whenever you sign into Netflix. You will have some suggestions, like based on your previous watch, they will give you the suggestion that this could be the movies that you would like to watch, or this could be the series that you would like to look at, uh, in order to view like it defines your customer profile based on the movies that you have already watched and the type of content that you watch. Okay, now Expedia uses it for your what do you say, for suggesting hotels and all. Okay, and when you come to NASA, you remember that it has shown the another galaxy picture. So that picture was analyzed based on Python. Udemy uses it for suggesting courses, and Instagram. Okay, Instagram uses Python uh, for your suggestions, image filtering, suggestions, and to find out any abuse. And Facebook uses it for your facial recognition. Okay, um, like whenever you post a picture with a group, what happens is that it will give you those teeny tiny boxes there, and with the names of the people, though you have not defined that, but Facebook will automatically find that out and say that, okay, this is person A, this is person B, this is person C, whoever is available on Facebook. So there is nothing but your an algorithm written in Python, which helps them analyze that particular picture that you have uploaded and match those pixels that you see there for that face pattern, and then it will find out if that user is there on Facebook or not. From there it will pull the information and say that, okay, this is Mr. A, this is Mr. B, this is Mr. C. And how can we forget Google? Okay, so all the searches that you do on Google, the background algorithm is Python. Okay, the language that algorithms are written in is Python, and it is very extensively used in Google. Okay, and if you want to like learn Python and do not want to install any any products like Anaconda or Jupyter Notebook or PySpark, what you can do is that you can go to Google Colab or Google Collaboratory, which will give you all the libraries and environment for free. Okay, and of course, MIT uses it for analytics and research. IBM uses it for data analytics for its customers. Bank of America do it for fraud detection on credit card and fraud detection and finding new customers, suggesting the services to the customers. And the CIA uses it for facial recognitions, pattern recognitions, how exactly the behavior of the customer of the person they are monitoring is. Okay. So these are some, and for Amazon, it is for your suggestion of the products and tracking of the products. Okay, so these are some of the examples for who uses Python. Now we will come to where Python is used. Okay, fraud detection. Okay, so fraud detection is basically done in banking industry. Okay, so when you have a bank, you see that you will get a lot of frauds in bank. Okay, many people trying to hack in bank network, or someone will be dodgy, and what they will do is that uh, they will like for credit card fraud, for example. Okay, so what people do is that they will take the credit card in someone else's name or in their name, and what they do is that they do not pay the credit card bills, and then they just vanish and bank has to search for them. So for those kind of patterns, to avoid those kind of situation, what bank do is they will collect the information, okay, of the previous frauds and good customers. Okay, so they take that information, run the machine learning model on that to find out which kind of customers are actually doing fraud. Okay, what age group they are in, from which region, what kind of jobs they have, what kind of transactions they make. Okay, or what was their previous credit card usage history, how exactly they use it, what is the frequency of usage. These all things are analyzed using the machine learning model. And this also helps them in not only in detecting fraud, but also to like find out the transaction types in money laundering. Okay, so you see that a lot of money laundering happens, and those kind of transactions are also detected by using the machine learning algorithms. What happens is that they will see that how much amount of money is going out from each account or from the suspected account, whether it is routing back to the same person by going to different accounts and coming to them. So these kind of activities are done in fraud detection using Python. Okay. Next is the facial recognition and security. It's nothing but it uses the machine learning algorithm, which will analyze the pictures and capture the facial recognition and compare it with the database that is available and match the face. If the face is available, it will give a go. If the face is not available, it will say that the face is not available. Now, here one more thing. Okay, apart from facial recognition, this is also used, these machine learning algorithms are also used in detecting the, like for example, you have road sensors. Okay, like they will detect the vehicle number plate, track that, right? So that also uses a similar pattern, similar technique as facial recognition, but instead of facial recognition, it will be the number plate that will be matched with the database. Okay, like for example, you might have heard in UAE, they use a lot of route sensors to manage traffic and impose fines on the commuters who are offenders actually, okay, who are not following the road rules. They are traveling on high speed, so they have high speed sensors available. All those sensors worked on machine learning algorithms. They will store the database, see how the user patterns is. Based on that, it will make the decision, and it will also store the information about that vehicle. And for security, of course, the criminal databases that we have available, like for example, CCS that we have in India, cyber security police, all these uses machine learning and Python to match a video footage, or to analyze a video or audio footage, or for that matter a picture, to analyze if it is very garbled or the pixels are not clear, using machine learning algorithms in Python to identify who the person is and track them. Ads customization. Okay, ads customization is one of the biggest thing that we see in today's day. Like for example, you have searched for some product on Amazon. Okay, like I wanted a trekking gear. Okay, so the next time what happens, you go on to any website, on the right side, for example, you're going on your Outlook email or Gmail, you will see that all the ads related to trekking gears are started coming now on your computer. Or if you have downloaded some application on your mobile phone, what happens is that it will show all related applications. Like if you have downloaded something like TikTok, okay, so what it will do is that it will show you all apps similar to TikTok on your what do you say, on your mobile phone. So how does that happen? It will track your what do you say, the usage. The cookie based tracking is done using the web spiders. So web spiders are nothing but codes written to track the usage of the user and suggest ads based on his searches. And those are also built in Python. All the Google spiders are built in Python. Okay, so that is for ad customization. Product suggestion, I have already discussed just now. Product suggestion is nothing but you search for something, it will say that based on your previous searches we are suggesting this to you. Okay, how does that do that? That happens based on the machine learning algorithm. Like it will search for the similar product tags category in the database, look for that data and give you the more suggestions for that particular product. Drug trials. Okay, this is really interesting. Relating it to the today's time that we are living in COVID-19. So drug trials is one of the important aspect. Like not only data scientist, but in medicinal field as well, Python is extensively used by the doctors. Okay, so when I say doctors, I mean research scholars who are working on developing medicines or vaccines for the users. Okay, so what does it do is that the Python will analyze the data for them, give them the clinical trials are assessed based on that, and a model is built to predict what could be the various. Let's say you are having drugs X, Y, and Z. Okay, so you want to get various combinations of the drugs. So we have certain libraries available in Python. What they will do is that they will analyze they will create those compounds for them, run the trials, based on the previous data they will run the trials for them, and give you the results. Okay, like for example, you have a patient data, you have patients set A and set B. So patient set A is within the age group of 30 to 35, and set B is within the age group of 40 to 45 with certain ailments or certain medical conditions. Okay, so what it will do is that they will run the clinical trial on, let's say, on those 10 people, and then extrapolate the data using the machine learning and predictive analytics to get more results, and see that if they use it on 100 people, what could be the result, what is the possibility of succeeding. Because you cannot do a clinical trial and like put life of a person in danger until you're not sure that how the results could be. Okay, like you might have seen in many movies, like they will put they will say that we are putting in some numbers for this cyclone, and then it will say that, oh no, this is not matching, we cannot do this. Then they will try another model, and then another model, then they finally get the result. Okay, so that is how the clinical trial is done. And the models that we are talking about, the machine learning models, predict the numbers based on the data that you have given. Or let's say, for example, you want to check what could be the effect of a earthquake if it is on this much of Richter scale. Let's say it's on Richter scale 4, and you want to know the impact and the financial impact, what could be the loss of life due to that, you want to predict that. Okay, so that you can do by putting the or adding the previous data in Python. Okay, and then analyze the data. It will give you the results in the test. You can test, you can create the test model, and then train the model to training data set that we have given, train the model with that, then put some new data in there and check results on that. If it is normal, data is normal, it will align to the it will align to the line. If it is not, you will see that some points are moving here and there. Okay, so after drug trials and research, disease prognosis. Okay, so disease prognosis, like for cancer research, Python is extensively used to understand how to treat the disease and what medicinal combinations can be used. Then post that, once you do the disease prognosis and use the combinations of the drugs, the treatment analysis is something like with different drug types, how the treatment went for those groups. So there is nothing but your treatment analysis. Web scraping. Okay, web scraping is also one of the best usage of Python. So web scraping is nothing but you want to get all the results that you have taken. Let's say you have done a Google search, okay, on Python, okay, how to write a code in Python. And what you want to do is that you want to collect all those URLs that came in into the search. So that is when web scraping comes into picture. Like if you want to collect some information from web pages, that is when you use the web scraping. And a lot of web scraping applications uses Python in background to scrape the website. And scraping is also used in collecting the job details from various websites like Monster and Naukri. And it will also be helpful in collecting your weather data from various websites and comparing, let's say, scraping some research data from various websites. Okay, so that's how web scraping works. Web development, like Python is used for developing web applications as well. So with PHP and Python in combination, you can write some very beautiful websites. Robotics. Okay, so robotics is something like which is also the future now. So any robot that you have that works on artificial intelligence and machine learning. Okay, the niche robots that you have, like who can stand, walk, understand your conversation. That you might have seen a lot of robots are there, and one of the robots is given citizenship by Dubai government. Okay, so those all robots work on machine learning and artificial intelligence. So what happens? What is machine learning is nothing but you teach the machine that if you do this, this will happen. They will uh, the responses will already be there. Artificial intelligence is nothing but uh, the intelligence of the machine of its own, which is developed based on machine learning. Like it will analyze the environment, see how you are reacting to a particular question, and what it will do is that it will store that or analyze the data using the machine learning algorithms, and the output that the machine, the robot gets with that, it will store it in the memory. And later on, using the artificial intelligence capability, it will give you the same response that you have given for that type of sentence that you give. Or you might have seen that the robots are built for like let's say for chess competitions and all those. So those all kind of robots work on the artificial intelligence and machine learning. Okay, now before moving on to the career opportunities, what I would like to do is I would like to take one example wherein I can show you like how exactly Python works and how it can be used. Okay, So just 1 second. Okay, so currently for this one, I am using Jupyter Notebook. Okay, and here I thought I will use some TensorFlow or face detection libraries, but I thought that that will be a bit more complicated, and so I kept it to a simple one. That is Faker. Okay, Faker is one of the libraries in Python which will help you in generating fake data for your test, or let's say you are working in an organization and you have to build a use case. Okay, so use case is nothing but you will build something which already happened. Okay, and you want to showcase that, but you cannot show the actual data to someone else because your data security and data integrity policies of the company does not allow that. So for that we need some fake data. Okay, let us say the analysis that you have done or the case study that you are having, on that you're showing around 10,000 cases. Okay, and now you have to anonymize all the 10,000 usernames, and you might have to think of 10,000 names, and I'm sure you will take days and days to get that. All right, so now what we can do is that we can use Faker to get the information available. Okay, so if you want to get those names in the library, you can use the Faker library. Okay, so let me just show you an example. Okay, import, import Faker. Oops, sorry, my bad. It actually took the tab that I have pressed. Okay, so I'm importing the library Faker. Okay, so now let me define Faker is equal to Faker. Let me get some name for n in range. We will start with 10. 10. Now, you remember I told you about white spaces and indentation. You see here, I'm going into the block of code. I'm writing some function here. So for n in range 10, you see that it has moved one tab to the right. Print figure dot name. Just let me double check. Figure for 10. Print figure. All good. Let me make it a bit and hide. Okay. So now you see here, it has given you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 names you have got there. Okay. So now similar to that, they also have various others, like you can get first name, last name, you can get address class. uh, a lot are there in Faker. Okay. So now let us say I want to get some jobs. Okay. You see here, insurance surveyor, operational risk researcher, teacher, primary school, this and all those. And if you want to generate what do you say, phone numbers also, you can do that. Okay, now let me show this. Okay, Faker 2 is equal to Faker, and I want to take the localization as We go to, let me see, the profile is not available. Let me see for, okay. So I wanted to get some Russian names here, okay? So I have used the locale, okay? So locale is nothing but for which reason you want to get those detail, you will get that. Let me see if it gives for China. No, some locales are not available. Actually, I should have checked that, but I just struck my mind that I can do this. So I pulled it for you guys. So we can also even get the currencies, okay? Like if you want to get the currency name, you can also get that. Mm, okay, we already have. Okay, so you got one currency here. So if you keep on refreshing that, it will change the currency. And if we use the same model that we have used in here, like we want to see 10 currencies, it will give you 10 different currencies. And you can even generate words with that, okay? So this is a bit of description about how exactly it works and how extensively you can use Python, okay? I can show you, this is a simple code. I can also show you like, or let's keep that and move on to our presentation, okay? Now coming on to the career opportunities, career opportunities are quite good in Python, okay? When you know Python and data science or Python as a web developer, there are great opportunities for Python available. Let us see what are they. Okay, now with Python, what fields or what streams that you can move in? Let us see that, okay? Web application development you can move into, desktop application creation, network programming, and I forgot this, okay? So Python is also used in your network analysis and routing the network, writing scripts for servers and on big clusters of network, Python is extensively used in networking as well. And data science, of course, data science is not the least. Okay, I have put it at last, but it is not the least one in the data science. Is like as data science grows, Python is also growing. Okay, so Python goes hand in hand with data science. Beat any project, 99% of the time the data analyst or the data scientist or data steward will go with Python as their go-to language when compared to other ones. Okay, let's see some job titles that we can get in Python. You can be a software engineer, senior software engineer, DevOps engineer, data engineer, research analyst, data analyst, data scientist, senior data scientist. So these are some of the tags that you have available in market for who knows Python and working in that field. Okay, so as a software engineer, you will develop the web and desktop applications. DevOps engineer is basically on automation side. Basically used on your cloud services. A data engineer is the guy who helps in creating the data and doing the ETL stuff and collecting the data kind of thing. Research analyst or business analyst will analyze that data using Python. Uh, so data analyst, research analyst is almost the same, okay? Data scientists are the guys who will get insights from that particular data and prove that statistically using Python and do the regressions, the machine learning models, the artificial intelligence, neural network, deep learning, all that great stuff is done by the data scientist guys. Okay. So this is the job titles that you have. And here, if you could see, I have just put in a screenshot with a search of Python on Naukri. Okay, so you see that there are around 7,733 jobs for the search that I have done with only Python. The salary range is 10 to 15 lakhs there. Okay, so that's quite high. So the scopes are good. Language is soaring high, used everywhere in data science world and in machine learning. So you have good scopes on this one. Okay, so what top skills Python developers need today? So this will help you like very exactly in conjunction with Python, what all you should learn. As I said that for automation and all, AWS uses Python quite, AWS is Amazon Web Services, uses Python quite extensively. Django is a package of Python which used in web development and in when you're using REST APIs. Docker is something which will help you handle large amount of data. Cloud computing, machine learning, continuous integration, you have all those things, good things comes, the skills that Python developer needs. So apart from Python, you need one or two more skills to work on. Some of the used cases that we have is insurance, we use in retail banking, aerospace, it uses in for meeting software system and deadlines. We have worked on a project in aerospace industry for one of the airports in South India to streamline their flight flow and in fact one of the busiest airport in South Asia. Okay, so what we have done is that we have helped them not only with how they are going to taxi their planes based on their arrival time, we also help them in with I mean I with my organization what we have done is that we have helped them improve the revenue for duty free stores by helping them organize the or shuffle the way the stores are organized in their shopping area. Finance, data mining to identify cross-sell opportunities, API access to financial information, automating network administration as we discussed already, predicting disease prognosis for healthcare. So web development, IT modernization, there is automation, uh, adding extensibility to legacy applications building sometimes what happens in some of the languages you do not have the capability to build web application or analytics, so that is where Python comes into picture and help the organizations. Okay, so one case study that we have for aerospace meeting software system deadline. So this is what happens. They were like as we discussed in the last one that they were using ADA and they needed a GUI creation. Okay, so for analysis, so they have selected Python version offered for larger contract values and no exposure. And main reason for the growth of Python is that it's open source and you have great community support, a lot of humongous amount of libraries, guys, in Python. So that's good thing for your for any usage. Okay, for image analysis you have CV2, you have TensorFlow. For data analytics you have pandas, NumPy, scikit-learn, SciPy. For graphical analysis or for plotting graphs you have like Seaborn, Matplotlib, Bouquet. You have all these great libraries available for you to work with.